Tonight's story is called The Sweet Fate of Ophelia, a cozy bedtime story made just for you. My dear dreamer, hello. You've done enough today. It's time to loosen your shoulders, unclench your heart, and rest in the quiet space where stories begin. Tonight's story is about rewriting the ending, about love, choice, and the gentle power of healing. It's called Take a Chance, the sweet revised fate of Ophelia Tay Reese. So take a deep breath, let the day fall away, let every sound soften around you. The world will wait. The story will not rush you. It will keep watch while you drift into the softest kind of peace. Now, let's begin. There's a kind of summer that never cools, not even when the sun goes down. That was the summer Ophelia Tay Reese lived inside a song, though the world only knew her as Tay. Her name was stitched into posters, her smile rehearsed until it shone, and every melody carried a piece of her she no longer recognized. But that night, under the theater's buzzing lights, she wished for something quieter than the applause. A mere valet stood beside her, handsome, gifted, dangerous in the way beautiful storms are. He kissed her temple just before they stepped out into the glare. "Smile, baby," he said. "We're live in 2. It sounded sweet. It felt like a leash. On stage, he bent a single lyric out of shape. The line had always been theirs, an intimate refrain she'd written about love that endures. I'll stay through the quiet, through the ache. But tonight, Amir smiled at the crowd and changed it. She'll stay through the quiet, through the ache. He glanced at her as he said it, the grin slow and deliberate. The crowd roared, eating it up as another proof of their picture-perfect romance. They thought it was devotion. Only she knew it was possession. Her cheeks flushed under the heat of the lights. She hit her harmony anyway, every note precise, every smile in place, and swallowed the sting like it was honey. Later, the world blurred by through tinted glass. The roar of the crowd still echoed in her ears, muted now, like applause underwater. Her reflection in the window didn't look like her, just the glossy image of someone smiling too long. Her phone blinked awake, spilling headlines and strangers' opinions. Most called the performance romantic. A few said brave. None of them saw the leash hidden in his smile. The city was still awake, though it yawned at its own reflection in the windows of passing cars. Inside one of them, Tay Reese let her forehead rest against the cool glass and watched the lights smear into ribbons. Her phone chirped over and over like a restless bird. Headlines, hot takes, pity disguised as praise. She scrolled until her thumb hesitated over a single thumbnail. A field of grass, a helmet glinting under floodlights, a man smiling as if he'd never learned to fake it. Trey Colson. She tapped once. The clip began. His voice carried a warmth that didn't need volume. It had the color of August sunlight. "If Tay Reese ever needs a +1, said Trey Colson to the intently listening reporter, "tell her my end zone's wide open." He chuckled, then added, almost as an afterthought, "If I were lucky enough to stand beside someone like Tay Reese," Trey said, "I'd never make her stay through the ache just to prove she could." The reporter laughed, missing the weight of it, but Tay didn't. The words hit her like sunlight through a crack in the blinds, small, honest, and impossibly kind. A quick, startled sound escaped her, half breath, half laugh. It startled even her driver, who caught her eyes in the mirror and smiled before politely looking away. She played the clip again, not for the joke, for the grace inside the truth. By the third replay, she was whispering, "What am I doing?" and smiling into the dark. She wasn't replaying it for the words anymore, but for the warmth in his voice, the steady, human warmth she hadn't realized she'd been missing. For a heartbeat, she felt lighter, almost foolishly so. The ache Amir had left behind loosened by a thread, as if one moment of uncalculated kindness had tugged the knot just enough to make room for air. Outside, the freeway unspooled towards the hills. Inside, her world, once so crowded, felt suddenly spacious, like a song with fewer instruments, but a clearer melody. At home, the air smelled faintly of jasmine and rain on concrete. Tay dropped her keys into a bowl and toed off her heels, the way you do when you finally stop pretending the night was fine. Her father had called 3 times. Each voicemail was a different flavor of control. Concern, disappointment, strategy. She didn't listen to the last one. Instead, she made tea, the kind her vocal coach swore kept the throat soft. Pour, pause, breathe. She sat on the sofa with the mug warming her palms and her phone glowing beside it. The clip waited there, still open, patient. She thought of all the rules she'd been raised to keep. Never text first, never trust strangers, never do anything that can't be spun. Then she thought of how small she'd felt on that stage and how big the laugh in the car had been. Her thumbs hovered. "Thank you for the kindness," she typed. Deleted it. "Hi, I'm not supposed to message you." Deleted that too. Finally, she wrote, "Your interview made a long day gentler." And for once, she didn't ask permission from the invisible committee in her head. She pressed send. The message left, soft as a sigh. For a moment, nothing happened. The apartment hummed, the refrigerator, the rain, her heartbeat. Then the phone blinked again. Not a text, a voice memo. She hesitated, then played it. "Hey," the voice said, warm, a little shy. "Didn't think you'd actually hear that clip, much less write. If you ever need a +1 for something that isn't a gala, I make a decent diner coffee date. No pressure, though. I'm good at no pressure." She listened twice, maybe 3 times. By the end, her smile had settled somewhere, quiet and sure. She typed one more line. "Tomorrow, noon, Bluebird Diner. No entourage, just coffee. Send." Outside, the rain eased into a hush. Inside, something in her finally followed suit. It wasn't rescue. It was choice. And choice, she remembered, was the way out of the river. Morning arrived like a polite guest. Soft knock of light against the blinds. Scent of rain gone to steam. Tay dressed without hurry. Jeans, a sweater the color of frothy milk, a ball cap she'd bought years ago at a gas station because obscurity sometimes came in cotton. The city outside had that after-storm shine, everything rinsed and new. She drove with the windows half down, hair in the wind, letting the air feel her face instead of the cameras. The Bluebird Diner sat at the edge of a parking lot, painted with puddles. Neon signs still humming from the night before. A waitress in a lemon apron, wiping the table over and over, the way people do when they're waiting for something good to happen. Inside, smelled of maple syrup, burnt coffee, and someone's country playlist turned down too low to offend. She slid into the booth near the window and tried not to look like a woman waiting for a man. But when Trey Colson walked in, the bell above the door gave her away anyway. He was taller than she'd expected, broader in the shoulders, softer around the eyes. No entourage, no noise, just a man in a gray hoodie and the look of someone who actually slept at night. He smiled when he saw her, and it wasn't a performance. "Hey," he said, a word that landed like a blanket thrown across cold knees. "Hey," she echoed, and found herself meaning it. They ordered 2 coffees, 1 stack of pancakes, to share, though he would end up eating most of them and apologizing for it twice. Between bites, their words came easy, not the sparkling kind that belong on late-night talk shows, just the kind that happen between 2 people who are tired of pretending they're fine. She told him about the endless tours, how songs could be cages if you weren't careful. He told her about his bus rides through states that looked the same until you noticed the color of the dirt. When she laughed, he looked at her the way some people look at sunlight through the leaves. Awed, not greedy. At one point she asked, "Do you ever get used to people thinking they know you?" He stirred cream into his coffee, slow. "I stopped trying to fix what they think," he said. "Now, I just try to be kind enough that the truth shows through." Kind enough that the truth shows through. The words folded themselves neatly into her memory, already glowing at the edges. Outside, a boy in a team hoodie pressed his nose to the glass, saw Trey, and waved. Trey waved back. The boy ran off laughing. It struck Tay how easy kindness was for him, like breathing. "Is your family close?" she asked. He grinned. "Too close sometimes. You'll meet them. They travel in packs." "You say that like it's a threat." "It's a promise," he said, and she felt the smile reach the small hidden parts of her heart that hadn't thawed in years. When the check came, he didn't make a show of paying. He just reached for it, calm and certain, like a man raised to take care of the moment. She opened her mouth to protest, but he shook his head. "Let me," he said softly. "You can get the next smile." Something in his tone made the air shift, as if tomorrow had already started, right there between them. They stepped outside together, the bell above the door giving a small farewell. The parking lot smelled of pancakes and sun on wet asphalt. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The air felt like the pause between verses, quiet, full, waiting. She started to thank him for breakfast, for the laughter, for making something ordinary feel safe again, but the words tangled themselves shyly behind her smile. Trey opened her car door instead. "Old habit," he said, half apology, half grin. "My mom'd haunt me if I didn't." Tay laughed. "Well then, better keep her happy." He waited while she slid in and fastened her seatbelt, not rushing, not crowding, just steady, like the way morning light stays until you notice it. When she was settled, he rested his hand lightly on the frame of her open window. "Text me when you get home," he said. "Just so I know you made it." "I will." He smiled once more, a quiet thing that sometimes felt like a promise. Only then did he step back, giving a small wave as she pulled away. In her rearview mirror, she saw him standing there, hands in his pockets, watching to be sure the world stayed kind to her, until distance turned him into a blur of sunlight and shadow. And for the first time since the world had learned her name, Tay felt seen, not for the noise around her, but for the truth beneath it. Autumn arrived the way it always does in the South, slowly, like someone lowering the dimmer switch on the sky. Mornings came with the smell of cedar and wet leaves, and Tay began to breathe a little easier, as if the cooler air carried permission. She and Trey didn't rush things. They traded messages, small ones that fit between their lives, pictures of cricket pancakes, voice notes of her humming unfinished melodies, and a photo of his niece's drawing labeled Uncle Tree. Each exchange was simple, but the days grew softer around them because of it. When her schedule allowed, she'd drive the hour to Monarch Stadium, where the stands rose like steel mountains, filled with thunder and light. It was nothing like the small town fields where she'd grown up near. This place breathed money and magnitude, but somehow, when Trey was out there, it felt human again. The first time she came, she wore a hoodie and sunglasses, hoping no one would notice. By halftime, a grandmother with a foam finger had already pressed a cup of cocoa into her hands and called her sweetheart. It was the first time she felt anonymous and adored, all at once. When the whistle blew, Trey jogged toward the sideline, helmet tilted back, scanning the stands. Thousands of faces, cameras, noise, and then he found her. One hoodie, one quiet smile, eyes steady on him like a secret. He lifted a hand, small, quick, for her alone. And though 50,000 people cheered, Tay felt as if the whole stadium had gone still. It wasn't a headline moment. It was something better, a secret that belonged to only them. Later, he took her to his parents' house. Red brick, porch swing, pumpkins on every step. Inside, chaos and kindness wrestled for space. Kids chasing a golden retriever, his mother waving a wooden spoon, his brother teasing, music low and old from a kitchen radio. Tay helped set the table, careful not to spill gravy on her sweater, and listened to the stories that didn't need fame to be worth telling. When someone passed her the rolls, she realized her cheeks hurt from smiling. After dinner, they all drifted to the backyard. Fireflies stitched the dark together, and someone had strung lights from tree to tree, the kind of soft gold that makes everything look forgiven. Trey found her near a fence, where the noise thinned into crickets. He held out a mug of cider, steam curling like breath. "You doing okay?" he asked. She nodded. "More than okay. This feels real." He leaned beside her, shoulder to shoulder. "Real's all I've got," he said. "It's not fancy, but it's honest." She looked at him then, really looked, and saw not the headlines of the jerseys or the stadium lights, but the steadiness beneath them. It felt like discovering a harmony inside her own song that she'd forgotten how to sing. When it was time to leave, her mother hugged her, murmuring, "You come back soon, sweetheart, okay?" Tay nodded, smiling into the soft cotton of her shoulder, and she meant it. On the drive home, the highway glowed with the trail of taillights that looked like the fallen stars trying to find their way. She rolled down the window, let the wind tangle her hair, and hummed a new melody under her breath, one that sounded suspiciously like happiness. At a red light, she checked her phone. A message from Trey waited. "Glad you came. You fit right in." She smiled, tapping a reply she didn't send, then whispered it to the night instead. "So do you." Fame changed the weather again. It began as a whisper, thin, cool, and fast. By the week's end, it had become a storm. Every headline hummed the same tired melody. The fallen starlet, the football rebound, the man of the season. Tay had seen storms like this before. They always started with someone pretending to be sorry. Amir Valet sat beneath television lights, his expression rehearsed down to his breath. He said he wished her well. He said he hoped she had found peace. And then, with the same smile that had once charmed her into silence, he added, "Sometimes people run to new stories when they're not ready to finish the old ones." The audience sighed. The host looked so sympathetic. And in one sentence, Amir managed to paint himself as the poet and Tay as the plot twist. The internet took the bait. Comment sections bloomed like weeds. Rebound, publicity stunt, new season, new man. And in all those words, Trey's name began to carry weight it didn't deserve. He didn't say much, but she felt the air between them shift. His calls came later, his laughter faded faster. When they were together, his quiet stretched longer than usual. Not angry, just protective, like a man guarding something fragile. One night, Tay drove to his house with soup and cornbread still warm from her oven. He opened the door before she could knock. His eyes looked kind, but tired. "Hey," he said, voice a little rough. "Hey," she answered. "Thought you might need something warm." They ate at the counter, side by side, the silence gentle but tense. Finally, he said it. "They're saying I'm just the story you picked to tell this season. Like, I'm another chapter in your brand, not a man. I've spent years trying to prove I'm more than a storyline." She heard the ache under the words, the weariness of someone who'd been flattened into headlines too many times. Tay set down her spoon and turned towards him. "I know what it feels like," she said softly. "People have been writing my story since I was 17. Sometimes I forget that I can still hold the pen." He looked up, eyes searching. "I don't want to be another page someone else turns for you." She reached across the counter, laying her hand over his. "Then don't be," she said. "Stay and help me write the next one." For a long moment, the only sound was the hum of the refrigerator and the rain against the glass. Then his fingers relaxed, folded around hers, a small surrender that felt like trust. "I just need to know you see me beyond all this noise," he murmured. "I do," she said, "even when I'm quiet." They finished the soup, washed the dishes side by side. He walked her to her car, waited until the taillights disappeared down the street, and for a few hours the storm outside seemed to soften. But Amir wasn't finished. He never was. 2 days later, he accidentally leaked a handful of old photos, a backstage hug, a blurred kiss behind a curtain, intimate, familiar. The caption was syrupy and cruel. "Still wishing her the best." Then came a lyric sheet leaked to a gossip site. "She begged to come home, but my song had already moved on." It was the final push of a man who needed to stay center stage, even if it meant dragging everyone else back under his lights. Tay stared at her phone, her pulse steady and strange. Marcus called twice. Her publicist sent 3 messages with the word damage control. She ignored them all. And then she called Amir herself. He answered quickly, sweet as poison. "Tay," he said, "you sound upset." "You don't write songs," she told him. "You write cages." And before he could answer, she ended the call. The relief that followed was so pure, it almost hurt. That weekend, The team benched Trey for focus. The press called it discipline. She heard it as punishment. She went to the game anyway. No glam, no entourage. Just Tay in jeans and his jersey. His name, his number, bold and bright under the cold sky. No curtain left to hide behind. No apology in her stride. The crowd turned like a tide when they saw her walk in. Some gasped, others smiled. An older woman near the aisle pressed a paper cup of cocoa into her hands. "You're a brave one, honey," she said. Tay laughed softly. "Just a girl who knows who she's cheering for." She found her seat near the 50-yard line, the field lights washing her in silver. When the team ran out, without him, she stood anyway. Hands high, voice clear, calling his name into the chill. Not for pity, for truth. Because he wasn't her headline for a season. He was her forever. And she was done letting anyone right that wrong. People noticed. Not the way cameras notice scandal, but the way hearts notice courage. By the time the final whistle blew, the air itself seemed changed. Less about noise, more about grace. After the game, she waited by the tunnel, the concrete still echoing with footsteps and faraway cheers. Then he appeared, hoodie up, shoulders set, eyes scanning until they found her. "I saw you," he said. "I wanted you to." She smiled, tears stinging but unfallen. "I don't need to clear your name. I just needed the world to hear mine saying it. I believe in you." He exhaled, a sound halfway between relief and awe. "That's all I ever wanted." She laughed quietly. "Then I guess we're both off the market for temporary headlines." That earned a real smile, wide, unguarded, the kind that made her chest ache in the best way. He took her hand, and together they walked toward the parking lot. No cameras, no crowd, just two people learning what it means to stay. The storm hadn't vanished, but they'd learn where to stand when it came. And somewhere in the distance, under the hum of the lights and the whisper of the wind, the first notes of peace began to hum again. They left the stadium together, hand in hand, the world's noise fading behind them like the echo of old thunder. For once, Tay didn't care who saw. The cameras had already taken what they wanted. Tonight, she chose what stayed. The sky was the color of pewter, heavy with the promise of rain. Trey opened her car door, as he always did. Old habit, good manners, quiet love. When she slid inside, he leaned down, voice low. "You didn't have to come tonight." "I know," she said. "That's why I did." He smiled at that, soft and disbelieving, and closed the door. She watched him in the rearview mirror until he disappeared into the dark. In the days that followed, the noise began to shift. The same commenters who mocked them started to use softer words. Authentic, loyal, real. And for once, Tay didn't feel the need to explain any of it. The truth was already visible. It was written across every photograph of her in his jersey, every clip of her laughing in the stands, every unguarded moment they'd stopped trying to hide. But fame is a creature with a short memory. By the end of the week, the world had moved on to another scandal. For Tay and Trey, that quiet was the greatest gift of all. They spent the next few days exactly the way ordinary people do. Running errands, cooking late breakfast, arguing playfully over who made better coffee, Sometimes she'd hum while he worked out game film. Sometimes he'd read while she scribbled lyrics in her notebook. It wasn't glamorous. It was everything. Then, one Friday evening, Trey texted her a single line. "Don't make plans tomorrow night. Trust me." She rolled her eyes, smiling. "Should I be nervous?" "Only if you hate surprises," he wrote back. The next night, she pulled up to his house just after sunset. The gate was open, the drive lined with candles in small glass jars. She followed their light all the way up to the backyard. When she stepped through the door, she stopped breathing. Lanterns floated over the pool like captured stars. String of lights draped from the oak trees, their glow reflecting off water scattered with rose petals. Music drifted from a hidden speaker, soft, instrumental, familiar enough to tug at her heart. Trey stood at the edge of the pool, hands in his pockets, a little nervous, a lot proud. "Tay," he said, voice catching on her name. "I used to think big gestures were for movies, but then I realized our whole story started because I said something out loud when I didn't have to." He smiled, a little crooked. "So, I figured I'd do that again." She took a step closer, the scent of roses and chlorine wrapping around them. "Do you remember the words I said that night on the field?" he asked. "I do," she whispered. "You told the world you wanted to win a heart." He nodded. "Still true, just not in the way the crowd thought. I wasn't trying to win you like a game. I was trying to show you that love doesn't have to hide." She felt her eyes sting. "Trey." He laughed softly, almost shy. "Look up," he said. She tilted her head. Above them, the night sky shimmered, and then began to move. Tiny lights rose from behind the trees, climbing higher and higher until they formed words across the dark. "Take a chance." Her breath caught. The words glowed for a moment, then shifted, reforming slowly into a second message. "No rescue, just choice." Tay covered her mouth, tears spilling before she could stop them. "You didn't," she whispered. "I did," he said. "Because that's what you taught me. Love isn't saving somebody. It's standing beside them and choosing to stay." She crossed the distance between them, heart racing, light and shadow flickering across their faces. "You think this is going to make me fall even harder for you, don't you?" He grinned. "That was the plan." Then quieter. "Tay Reese, will you keep choosing me every day, even when it's not easy?" Her laugh came out shaky and bright. "I already am." She kissed him, slow and sure. And the crowd in the stadiums of her memory finally went silent. They stood there for a long moment, the sky above them glowing with fading words and invisible applause. When the last drone light winked out, Trey wrapped his arms around her and whispered, "Still want to see what I've been working on in the backyard?" She raised an eyebrow. "Should I be scared?" He only smiled. "Not unless you hate roses." He took her hand, leading her toward the pool. Its surface glimmering, petals drifting across it like small red stars. And there, with the sky still warm from his words, the rest of their story waited. The backyard glowed like a dream remembered. Lanterns hovered in branches, soft as moons. Every inch of the terrace shimmered with petals, crimson, blush, ivory, as if the world had spilled its gardens here and whispered, "Stay." Tay followed Trey through the open doors, barefoot now, the air rich with night-blooming jasmine, and something rarer, something like a dream deciding to stay. He turned toward her, nervous and radiant, the golden light from the pool catching his eyes. "You said once the stage lights never felt warm," he said. "So I built a sky that would." Her breath trembled. "You did all this?" "Some people collect trophies," he said with a shrug. "I collect reasons you smile." She laughed. One part disbelief, 2 parts wonder. And the sound wrapped itself around them like the string lights overhead. He led her to the edge of the pool. Thousands of petals floated there, drifting like tiny hearts. Among them, she recognized rare blooms. Orchids from Singapore, peonies from Kyoto, roses bred only in France, the sort of flowers that shouldn't even share the same season, but somehow did here tonight. "You searched the world," she whispered. "No," he said softly, "just the parts that remind me of you." He knelt, not for show, not for symmetry, but because some words deserve to be spoken close to the ground. "Ophelia Tay Reese," he said, voice steady but low. "I don't want a story that ends in rescue. I want a life that begins with choice. Will you marry me? Not because I caught you, but because you're standing here, choosing me." The night waited. Even the drones above held their place, their faint hums sounding like applause from the stars. Tay's tears came quiet and bright. She cupped his face, nodded once, and whispered, "Yes, always, yes." He rose, slipped the ring onto her finger. It gleamed like a captured drop of moonlight. Then the stillness broke into laughter. Hers, his, the kind that can't tell the difference between joy and disbelief. They kissed. No fireworks, no crowd, just 2 people glowing under borrowed stars. And then she did the unthinkable. "Come on," she said, eyes mischievous. "Let's rewrite history." She took his hand and ran straight for the edge of the pool. He barely had time to laugh before they leapt. The water caught them like a promise kept. Rose petals swirled around their faces, their laughter bubbling to the surface. They broke through together, gasping, glowing, alive. They floated on their backs, hand in hand, the drones above forming a slow spiral of light that faded into the stars. Petals brushed their cheeks. The water glimmered gold and blue, half heaven, half reflection. Tay looked up into the sky, remembering every version of herself who'd ever felt small, ever told a story that ended in sorrow. And then she smiled. "You know," she said, "Ophelia never had to drown. She just didn't know she could float." Trey squeezed her hand. "You do now." They drifted in silence, the pool becoming a mirror of sky, 2 hearts suspended between what was and what could be. Somewhere beyond the trees, a wind stirred the petals and carried the last of the rose scent upward, as if night itself wanted to keep a piece of their joy. Above them, the world was finally quiet, not because it stopped watching, but because there was nothing left to prove. The last petals settled on the water, their laughter fading to a warmth that lingered, steady as the night. The story exhaled, and peace took its place. The story is over now, and the world has gone quiet. But the words settle inside you, like the last light of evening. You don't have to remember the details. The story remembers for you. It will keep watch while you rest. Breathe in and let the air move easily through you. Breathe out and feel your body grow heavier against the bed, your shoulders softening, your jaw unfastening. Every sound around you is part of the lullaby. The hush of the room, the small sighs of night, the steady rhythm of your heart, reminding you that you are here and you are safe. If thoughts wander in, let them drift like petals across the still water. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to hold them. Just breathe and watch them float away. The night is kind. It waits for nothing, asks for nothing. It only wraps you in its quiet promise that rest is allowed and peace belongs to you. Sleep now. You are safe. You are loved. The story keeps watch while you drift, and when you wake, the morning will already be smiling your way. You have been listening to Nicki Woo Cozy Stories, written by Nicole T. Woodard. May your dreams be gentle and your sleep be deep.